Hey everybody, it's Pastor Daniel. This is day 9 of our 40 Days of Purpose, and today's guest is Sean. How you doing, Sean?
Hello, doing great, thank you.
It's good to see you. It looks like you have company. Is that your dog behind you?
This is my dog Charlie.
Oh man,
Um,
that's awesome. My dog's at my feet too, but she's not on camera. One good thing about being locked in is I get to spend more time with my dog, so that's fun.
like,
Today's lesson, or not today's lesson, but today's reading talked about what makes God smile. And when I first saw the title, I thought, man, that's kind of cheesy, thinking about making God smile. But as I started to read it, it actually stood out to me that there were several things that we do that bring pleasure to God, and that's what he was talking about this week. Is when we worship God, we bring delight to His heart. He talked about when we love God supremely, when we trust Him completely, when we obey God, when we praise and we thank Him continually, and when we use our abilities. Those were all ways that we could bring joy to the heart of God. So as you did today's reading, what are some things that stood out to you?
sure. Real quick, a little background. I'm very passionate and interested in all forms of art and creating films or pictures or drawing. And so I've always believed I was created in the image of God to create. And cheating a little bit from yesterday's, a verse that stood out to me because it's been my life verse for a while is Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as if working for the Lord and not for man. Um, so for me, that involves creating things that inspire people. And that
Yeah.
carries into today's lesson because it's all about you can make God smile through what you do and not necessarily the traditional mission work related passions. So that speaks to me because I've always felt called to do this, which isn't the traditional pastorly duty type of work.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of Christians feel that way, that they think, oh, my life really is only significant for God's kingdom if I'm a pastor or a missionary or something like that. And we forget the simple truth that we can do the most basic of things for the glory of God. And he talked about today that art and creativity is a gift that God's given to us, and people like you that are creatively gifted can add value to the world and actually joy to the heart of God. And people like me who appreciate art like that can actually bring enjoyment to God by enjoying His creation. He said here that God's given us ears and eyes and the sense of smell and taste, and He did that so that we could enjoy God's creation. So whether we're creating it or enjoying it, we can actually bring joy to the Lord. So, what impact do you think this has on your life to kind of hear this again?
It, for me, it kind of just refuels my passion to continue to make stuff that can inspire other non-believers or believers to see the love of God. Um, Something that stood out to me was you don't bring glory or pleasure to God by hiding your abilities or by trying to be someone else. You only bring Him enjoyment by being you. So I think it's important to listen to God, but also to the abilities and passions He's given you, and just use them to glorify Him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. One of the things that stood out to me as well was how we're talking about worshiping God and bringing joy to His heart. But the cool thing is, there's a side benefit that when we bring joy to the heart of God, it actually brings joy to our lives too, because we're fulfilling our purpose. And so when we lift up the Lord, it lifts us up as well. So instead of focusing on lifting ourselves up, we focus on lifting up God and bringing joy to Him, and it actually gives us the effect that we're looking for. And in that. So, what are some closing thoughts you have for us today?
Sure. Yeah, I'd like to read this also from today. In the film Chariots of Fire, Olympic runner Eric Liddell says, I believe God made me for a purpose, but He also made me fast. And when I run, I feel God's pleasure. So I just think that's great encouragement to bring God glory through what you're good at.
Yeah, that's a really good point for us to really let drive into our hearts, to know that everything we do can bring joy to the Lord. The final quote I'll share here before we go, it says, when you live in light of eternity, your focus changes from how much pleasure am I getting out of life to how much pleasure is God getting out of my life. And so it's good for us to remember, no matter what we're doing, we can be bringing pleasure to the Lord. Psalm 147 says, the Lord is pleased with those who worship him and trust him. Sean, thanks so much for spending time with us today. I appreciate your insight and our conversation.
Of course. Thank you, Daniel.
And for everybody else, we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye.